There we go.
Unmute.
I'm like, wait.
I swear, unmute is like the word of 2020,
Yes.
right? Okay. Well, thank you all you privateers out there for joining us today for our virtual Meet Us At series. Today we have Tracy Texter with us. Tracy's the Assistant Vice President and Mortgage Lender with Home Bank, and she's going to talk to us about the path to home ownership. So we really appreciate everyone tuning in and for your support with our ongoing series. If you haven't attended before processes like this, Tracy's going to give us a presentation. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat function, and she'll either pause at appropriate points in the presentation or answer your questions at the end. So I'm sure there'll be some good ones out there. And I will see you again at the end of the hour to wrap things up. So thanks for joining us, and see you in a few.
All righty, guys. Well, first, I'd like to thank y'all very much. Oops, hold on here. Let's see. So you're talking about those technical difficulties, right? Let's close this. There we go. All righty. So, again, as Rachel said, my name is Tracy Texter, and I am with Home Bank. I have been a community loan officer now for a little over 25 years, which saying I'm only, 20, that was, a little difficult, but, so I'm just here today to kind of share a few things with you on what your guide can kind of guide you into the path to home ownership. This is something that is very daunting because it's not something that we do on an everyday basis. So I'm here to share a few things with you on how to take the right steps to buy your new home. And underneath this bullet point, we're going to talk about educate yourself, understand your credit score, a budget, and understanding the mortgage process. So education is number one, and you're actually taking the first step today. By reaching out and attending this seminar, you're starting the education process. You would attend different home buyer seminars, find a lender that's right for you, participate in reputable home buyer counseling programs, and contact a real estate agent. Attending a home buyer seminar, you're taking the first step right now. We're going to go over what to expect, kind of the process on how you're going to go along, and just give you an idea of what you're getting into. Find a lender that is right for you. When I say that, that and contact a real estate agent. It is so important for you to work with someone that you are comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel like that person has your best interest, then that's not the lender or the real estate agent for you, because this is a very personal experience. And like I said, it's not something you do on a daily basis. So you're not going to be as familiar with different programs and process. So trust and comfort is very important in this process. And then participate in a reputable home buyer counseling program. A lot of the assistance programs that we'll discuss, you're required to participate in a home buyers training program, a first-time home buyers program per se. And when they say participate in a reputable one, like everything out there, there's going to be some people that are out there just to make some money. And they are going to give you information, but the counseling itself is not going to be acknowledged by federal programs. So you want to participate in a program that you know is approved by FHA. Generally, you're going to get that list from your lender, and it'll give you different ones that you can participate in. Some of them are going to be face-to-face, some will be online. And then some of them you're going to actually participate in, might be a class that is say like an 8-week class, 1 hour per week. So it just depends. Alrighty, understanding your credit score. This is going to be your next step. And you may do this on your own, and you may do it when working with your lender. The first step that you can make on your own at home is to go to www.annualcreditreport.com. When you go to this, normally you would be able to get one credit report per year for each different bureau. So that would be 3 per year for free. But in the COVID times right now, they are actually allowing you to check them once per month. And that's very important when you're starting this process, because it's a way that you can go over with your lender if there's anything that you need to address to help make things a little bit more favorable for you. When you get your credit report, the way that lenders decide what and how much you qualify for is a lot of times they use your credit score. Your credit score is almost getting like a report card on your credit, okay? So the score itself is comprised of 5 different factors. Number 1 is the amount of debt. When they're scoring you, 30% of that grade per se is based on the amount of debt you have. 35% is payment history. So your payment, gives the heaviest weight. You want to make sure that you pay your monthly bills on time every month. When it's in the instance of there's a situation you may not have the minimum payment, always pay something. Something is better than nothing. 15% of the score is length of credit history. With that being said, they don't want to see you going out every few months and getting a new credit card. They want to see a stable and defined credit history. So the longer you have cards or your car note, any type of relationship with an investor or a lender, that's what they're looking for. 10% is new credit. Again, it does not look favorable for you to every month or every couple of months getting a new card. Or even when people switch, if they see a 0% interest. Some people like to do that once a year. It doesn't necessarily make things better for you. It's cheaper in the long run for you to possibly pay it off. But as far as the score yourself, if you're looking to make a major purchase, that may not be the best scenario for you to participate in. How to get a better score. If there's one area in this that you see that you're lagging behind a little bit in, concentrate on that. Amount of debt. They don't want to see you with several cards or loans and everything's maxed out. They really want you to always have available credit. That is very important to have the availability of it. When you apply for a home mortgage has a slightly different credit bureau that we pull. Usually when you purchase a car or a credit card, they may only pull from one bureau. But when you're purchasing a home, we are going to pull what's called a tri-merge credit report. And that is going to be that we pull all 3 credit bureaus. And just like when everybody has a difference of opinion on something, the 3 bureaus actually score slightly different. So that a borrower gets the benefit, we're going to pull the middle score. Because one of them, maybe somebody only reported to Experian and everyone reported to TransUnion. So it just depends. We're looking for the mid score when we're taking your application. Generally, you can approve for a home loan with a credit score of 600 and above. Now, I am going to state there's a little caveat right now. Of course, with home mortgages, COVID is having an effect on it as well. So right now, most of the credit scores are a little bit higher. They're at a minimum of a 640, but in normal times, we are able to approve you at a 600 credit score. Common causes for a low credit score. Collections, judgments, and liens. Usually, you look at these and you lump all of them together. But this is actually a gradual step as to which ones have a greater impact. Collections. Collections typically happen when you have not paid a bill within approximately 90 days of a due date. So at that point, the creditor may transfer your account over to a collection agency who attempts to monitor and collect the amount due. Collection accounts, most common is medical. Then it may be an old credit card or possibly even a utility from when you moved. Some are by accident and some, you know, just fall through the cracks. I've had a couple of instances where someone moved and relocated even to another state and didn't realize there was another balance left on a utility bill because the utility company didn't have a forwarding address. So these have the least impact. Generally, you can pay them off. There's a fairly low amount. Collections are usually not your larger balances that are due. Judgments. Judgments are going to happen when someone goes to court and files that you owe them money. It is a standout. It is going to be in the credit report that everyone knows, anybody who pulls that credit report, that there is a judgment against you. A judgment is going to be probably a larger balance. It is something that usually, without a doubt, has to be paid before you can move forward with the process of home purchasing. And then lastly is liens. Liens is the next step from a judgment. Liens can be placed against you to stop you from purchasing a home until that amount is paid. Actually, it can stop you from a lot because a lien is what is recorded in the court system. It now becomes part of your legal description. So, for instance, I have a loan right now. There's no judgment in the credit report. We were getting ready to finalize the loan approval, and we get the title work back to the house, and the purchaser had a lien against them that's in the court system. So now he has to pay this $5,000 lien that no one was aware of. So as I said, it's a step. Collections, not that they're not important, but they're the least. Then it goes to a judgment and a lien. But a lien, without a doubt, will stop you from purchasing anything. Student loans. Student loan debt may affect your eligibility for some mortgage products. Based on the loan type, your student loan may be calculated different in your debt to income ratio. So that is a big point when you're purchasing a home, because most of us assume that when your student loan is deferred, that you are not responsible for that payment at this time, which is true. But student loans will never go away. It's a federal debt. So when that happens, we are required to count a percentage of that loan balance towards your loan approval. So even if a student loan is deferred, it can stop you from purchasing a home. So for instance, if you are trying to purchase a home, you have $10,000 worth of student loans out, and you're applying for an FHA loan, we have to calculate 1% of that as your minimum monthly payment. That will in turn affect what's called your debt to income ratio. In some instances, that can stop you from purchasing a home because it will push you over the maximum allowed ratio. Conventional loans are a little bit lower. They allow us to count a 0.5%, but it is still required that we calculate those loan payments. And again, it's because you're not required to pay it today, but we're assuming that you're still going to own a home in the next few years when that deferment period is over. So please keep that in mind. What worries me a lot, especially with younger students, 18, 19 years old, they see that they can get these student loans. I've had instances where they used them to purchase cars and such, and then later on when it's time they're ready to make their home purchase, they probably don't even have that car any longer, and now this is affecting what they're eligible for. Budgeting. How much can you afford to spend on a house? Most people, I ask up front, how much are you comfortable with paying on a monthly house note? And the reason why I ask that is because on paper, I can see what you're required to pay on your house, on your monthly bills, credit cards, car note, things of that nature. But I don't know about your life. And that's where a budget comes in. Because I need you to tell me if you have children, if you enjoy going out to dinner twice a week, if you like going to the beach once a month, because all of that comes into play in what you spend each month, but I'm not aware of it at all. So a budget is a good way for you to set goals for yourself and to understand where your money goes, because it's amazing. So generally, they tell you if you're going to start a budget, the first thing they suggest you do is take 25% right off the top for a savings. I'm going to be realistic. I don't know how many of us can do that. Majority of us don't. Majority of us are going to do everything else in this circle, and then whatever we can save at the end, we're going to save. And like I said, the goal is to start the savings early because you never know what's going to happen. COVID is our new example right now. You know, it used to be Katrina or a hurricane. Well, now it's COVID. Next, the maximum that they suggest is that you have 20% on your mortgage or your house note. Utilities, you should allow for 9%, medical and health, 5%, transportation, 15%. Transportation would include your car note, your car insurance, gas, normal maintenance on the vehicle. And again, when you look at these numbers, a lot of us are like, really? That is not something that is feasible, but it's supposed to be a goal. Credit card payments should not exceed 11% of your monthly income. Food, approximately 5%, and children, 8%. Well, I know 8% on my end is extremely low. But again, it should be some sort of guide for you. Understanding the mortgage process. What is a mortgage? A mortgage is a lien on the property that secures as a promise to repay the loan to the lender. There is a security agreement between the lender and the borrower that states the property is being used as collateral. The mortgage is held by the lender and gives rights to collect payments on a loan and to foreclose if the loan obligations are not met. So bottom line is, when you're signing a mortgage, we're fronting the money for you to have your home, but you're going to pay us back usually over 30 years. And all these documents do truly is just allow us that if you don't pay, it's going to be foreclosed on. A mortgage application. A mortgage application is going to be many documents that you have probably never seen in your life. And most of them truly are disclosures that just explain what you're doing and as you're going along. The mortgage application itself is generally about 50 pages and consists of about 35 signatures. Most of the pages, like I said, it is very scary when you first look at that packet, but majority of it is extremely repetitious. Documents that you may need when you decide that you are going to purchase a home or get pre-qualified for a home. Paycheck stubs for 30 days. W-2s for the last 2 years. Tax returns for the last 2 years. Driver's license or state ID. Bank statements for the last 2 months. With the bank statements, we say all pages because banks usually have at least one blank page within your statement, but it has a page number on it. So we are still required to have that. And then, of course, when you're moving from a pre-qualification to the actual purchase, the purchase agreement. The process itself. Before I even go into what these different steps are, the one thing I want to tell you is this is a very time-consuming process. At some point in time, you're going to want to throw up your hands and say, could they ask for anything else? But I promise it will be one of the most rewarding things that you accomplish in your lifetime. So let's begin. The initial application. So as I said, if you want to get pre-qualified, which I suggest, that way we can go over and look at what you may have to address. We're going to do like an initial application. From what you supply, we'll explore different loan program options. The major difference when you're looking at loan programs, there's usually 4 major types, and within those, there's different options. Of course, there's the FHA. The FHA has a 3.5% down payment, but it has the most leniency, I guess is how I can explain it, as far as your ratios and credit scores. A conventional also has a 3.5% down payment, but their credit scores and their ratios are a little bit tighter. For a conventional, you can do 45% ratio, and on the FHA, it's about 52%. So there's a little bit more leniency there. There's the rural development. Rural development is only available in certain areas. There are none in Orleans Parish, but St. Bernard, St. Tammany, the West Bank of Jefferson Parish, St. Charles and St. John are all rural development programs, eligible for rural development programs. And what that is that is actually 100% loan. So you do not have a down payment to qualify for that type of loan. And then lastly, there's your VA loan, your veterans loan. Veterans are also usually a 100% financing. And that program, a VA loan, you can purchase anywhere. From that point, we know which program would be best for you. We move into the pre-approval process. And at that point, I'm actually submitting your loan to underwriting on the information that you had supplied us, just to make sure that there isn't anything that I missed. It's a time for an underwriter to look at and view and really say, okay, yes, this is where we are. Once you have your pre-approval, it's time to start shopping and looking for a property. Once you find your property, we'll lock in your interest rate. At this point, we will order income and asset verifications. So we will contact your employer and verify that you are still employed, that you do make what you say you make and figure out if there's overtime or whatnot. There's appraisal and title request. We'll order the appraisal, order the title on the work. And at this step is where if there was a lien against you, we would find out. Because once the title company orders that and they're doing, I guess it's somewhat similar to a background check per se on you. It's they run your name and they'll let us know if anything is there. At that point, we submit everything back to underwriting. They'll issue us a decision. And this is when you're probably going to pull your hair out, because I'll say, okay, they went through the file and this is what they're requesting. And so we're submitting more documents to them. From there, we'll get our clear to close. We order insurances for you and then attend your settlement and closing. Everything that you signed on initial application, you are actually going to re-sign at a closing. So if you thought 50 was a lot, we're looking probably at about 75 pages and signatures at a closing. Because in addition to signing all the application and disclosure documents I had you sign, we will also be signing mortgages, notes, loan agreements. Again, the mortgage products we offer, I had gone over the FHA, the USDA Rural Development, conventional and VA, a few others that we offer that are more geared to home bank only is a community reinvestment mortgage. This may be for someone who wants to purchase a home in Orleans Parish. Maybe they have newly graduated, but they're considered under the 80% median income. And so what we do is we actually have a program that you would have a 90% mortgage, and then you'd have a 10% second loan, which is considered your down payment. So you truly have two payments for 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, you just have one. But it's a means that it truly is 100% loan, but only 10% of that is for a 10-year period. Adjustable rate mortgages. We hear so many things on the news about adjustable rate mortgages, and I agree majority of the time with what you hear. But where an adjustable rate mortgage could benefit someone is maybe it's someone that wants to be a homeowner, but they don't necessarily stay in the same city or state for a long period. Adjustable rate mortgages can be a 5-year or a 7-year arm. So the rate is locked in, and it's a little bit lower rate for that time period. And then at the end of the time period, you do either have to refinance or the rate increases. So as I said, if you're someone who travels or moves a lot because of your job, relocation, sometimes an ARM may benefit you. Construction loans. We are one of the few lenders that allow you to self-contract your loan. So you can buy your lot. We'll use that as part of the equity, and you have 12 to 18 months to build your home, but it does not have to be by a builder. You can self-contract if you choose to do so. And then renovation mortgage loans. A lot of times we want to purchase a home and we want to make it ours. And maybe instead of buying something that's already redone and we're just tearing it apart, we may find something that needs work. And we do offer those loans as well. A renovation loan, when you purchase the home, your loan actually includes an estimate from a contractor or a list of items that you are going to do to the home with estimates. And then we have an appraisal done as if those renovations have been completed. And that's how we base your loan amount. So we do have several programs that we offer, and it truly can cater to majority of your needs. Different property types that you can do a home mortgage on. Most common in our area is a single family detached. That is a regular single family home. A single family attached, that is generally, we don't have many of them here. It's similar, it looks like a condo, but it's actually a townhome. The difference is with a townhome or single family attached, you legally own your parcel of land. Whereas if a condominium, the association owns it. A planned unit development, that is truly just a subdivision that has a homeowners association. They may have green space, they may have a swimming pool that you can use, but that is what a PUD or a planned unit development is. A manufactured home is just that. It usually comes in two pieces. It can be considered a mobile home, a double wide, or nowadays they have some of them that truly look just like a regular single family home and you couldn't tell the difference. And then unimproved properties, that would be considered your lot loan. If you knew you were going to build in the next year or two, you may want to buy a lot first, or maybe you're not ready to build, but a piece of land comes up that you just can't, that's where you want to be. You can purchase unimproved property. At this point right now, we even have a special going on that you can do 100% financing on a lot. It is an interest-only payment, and that is good for 12 months. If you want to do a 90% loan on a lot, you can do that for up to 24 months. And then from there, there are regular 5 and 10-year loans for your lots. When you purchase your lot ahead of time, when it's time for you to build, hopefully you've built some equity into that, and that is considered your down payment on the new loan, the construction loan itself. Down payment assistance programs. This is something that most people assume that they do not qualify for. And there are so many programs out there that are available and go unused because people are just afraid to try. Number one is called the HELP program that we participate in. Now for the HELP program, this program is a $10,000 grant. It is for a first-time home buyer. And again, majority of the programs are for 80% median income. So for instance, if it is a single person trying to purchase a home, they can make up to $40,000 and qualify for this $10,000 grant. It is exactly that, a grant. You are not paying it back, but you do sign an agreement that you will live in the home for a minimum of 5 years. The HELP programs are only available in parishes that we have an actual brick and mortar building. So in the greater New Orleans area, it's Orleans Parish, St. Tammany, Jefferson. If you go outside of Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette area, but we do have to have a brick and mortar building available for the HELP program. Louisiana Housing Corporation programs, the LHC is what it's commonly known as. These programs also have several different assistance programs for different areas. Right now in St. Tammany Parish or Tangipahoa Parish, they have what's called a soft second resilient program, and you can qualify for up to a $50,000 grant. Again, you do have to be under the 80% median income, but $50,000 will greatly increase your home buying purchase available. Local government programs. Generally, most of our parishes do have something to offer. It's just like I said, it's not common for everyone to ask for them. For instance, in Orleans Parish, again, they have a soft second program that you could qualify for up to $65,000. In Jefferson Parish, their assistance is based more on an individual basis. So you have It's usually up to 9%. The money's available. You can use either for down payment or for closing cost assistance. And I want to mention one more program that is coming more common in our area that most people have never heard of. And this is called a ground lease. A ground lease is another way that someone's purchasing power can be increased. It is becoming very popular in St. Tammany right now. And the way a ground lease works is you're able to purchase a home anywhere within St. Tammany Parish. The only eligibility requirement that really disqualifies you is the property cannot be in a flood zone. But with the ground lease, you're actually leasing the land for 100 years. And in return, they are giving you a 20% gift of equity. That 20% gift of equity becomes your down payment. So when you're receiving that gift of equity, your taxes are already lower, your homeowner's insurance is lower, and as I said, that's your 20% down, so you no longer have any type of mortgage insurance program, mortgage insurance built into your payment. So you're allowed to purchase a higher priced home with a lower payment. As I said, that's something that's not very common in Louisiana. It is more common out of state, but St. Tammany has really taken the ball and run with this. And I have done several of these programs, and it has worked out well for the families that I've worked with. And that is it for my presentation today. Do I have any questions?
Hi, Tracy. Can you see the comments section?
Hey, Alex.
Hey, I'm on the line now. Sorry, I joined a bit late.
That's all right.
Got a question here from. I got a couple of questions. I can read them out to you.
Yeah, because they're not showing up on my Q&A.
No problem. So, how can you determine your debt-to-income ratio based upon your student debt? Is there a certain student debt amount that would be ideal? And yeah.
Actually, no. And the reason why is because everybody's situation is different. So if you want to get an idea, take your total amount of your normal debt to income ratio is calculated by adding up all your credit. So it's not going to include if you pay rent, your utilities. It's just going to be debt that I can see, which would be your credit cards, car payments, loans, anything reported to the credit bureau. And then divide that by your total gross income. That gives you your debt to income ratio. When you have student loans and they are deferred rather, you're going to take your total amount of student loans and times that times 1%. That is what we would use as an FHA payment. And if you times it by 0.5%, that is what we would use on a conventional loan. So it really just depends on the type of loan and your individual situation. But I'd always be happy to look at it and let you know where you're at and what we have to do to, help improve the situation.
Okay, and another question. What happens with the ground lease after 100 years?
Honest, we haven't had anybody do that yet, but let me share a little bit with you on how ground leases, where they came from. Anyone who's grown up in the New Orleans area, if you remember all the camps around Lake Catherine and off of Chef Highway, I know we went to one every year when I was growing up. That is all land leases. No one owns that land. The railroad track actually owns it. Railroad track. The railroad system owns it. And you sign a 100-year lease with them. The lease, the way it's written, is that it will always be renewed. So you do not have to worry about losing it. And when you sign a land lease, if you were to pass, since Louisiana is a forced heirship state, it is still going to go to your heirs. So you don't have to worry if you have a ground lease and it's just in your name, that if you get married or you have kids and something happens to you, you've lost your investment, because you do not. Also, you can choose to sell it. Maybe you'll do a land lease and live there for 10 years, and in 10 years, you're going to sell it. You would sell it like normal, and you're even going to receive your equity that you've invested in there if you wanted to use that to purchase another home. It's just a great way for you to purchase as a first-time home buyer on a limited income. It allows you, like I said, that buying power, to increase that buying power.
Thanks very much for those answers, Tracy. Very helpful. I've got a couple more here. So my income is slightly higher than the HELP program threshold. Is it acceptable to temporarily reduce my percentage effort at work to reduce my salary so that I could qualify for the grant?
It depends on the situation that I can look at. Now, let me say this. It is based on, first off, it increases every year. Second, it's going to be dependent on what you worked the last 2 years. We actually average it. So if you just recently received an increase or whatnot, then you may still fall within the guidelines. Also, when I say it goes by household income, if we have single moms or dads out there and you have a child, that is increasing what is available. So for instance, if it's one person living in the home, you're at $40,000. If it's 2 people, you're at 45. If it's 3, it's 50, and so on and so forth. So keep that in mind as well, that it is household size. So if you have children, it does increase the amount of income you can have.
Great, thank you very much. Another question, what is the difference between the standard 20% down payment mortgage and the 3.5% mortgage?
Again, back when we had the housing crash, everything was tightened up, and loans, people could not get a loan unless they put 20% down. And it's mostly because the lender felt like they were in an equity position at that point. So nowadays, you can get the same interest rate whether you put 3.5% down or you put 20% down. The difference is all home loans have what's called a mortgage insurance premium on it until you have 20% of equity. So if you put 20% down, then you're automatically not going to have that insurance. But if you put the 3.5% down, purchase your home today, and in 5 years you've reached the 20% equity, the mortgage insurance comes off. So that's really the difference between how much of a down payment you put. It doesn't really have much to do with your interest rate. It's just a matter of that mortgage insurance premium.
Thank you very much. If anybody has any verbal questions, feel free to ask, but that's it for the written questions. Oh, here we go. If you're married, got another written one. If you're married and your spouse has a high debt to income ratio, is it better to apply for a home loan independently, or will my spouse's debt to income be needed?
No, that is a very good question. Yes, Louisiana is a community property state. So if you go with an FHA loan, we do have to count the debt to income ratio because of that. But if you go with a conventional loan, we do not have to. And so I actually have one of those going on right now. So we are putting the loan, it's a second marriage. The husband has virtually no debt, and the wife does have a lot of credit card debt. So we are putting the loan just in his name, but after the loan closes, he is putting her on title to the home. So she will own half of the house with him, but she will not be on the loan itself for qualifying purposes.
Thank you very much, Tracy. If there are no more written questions, then I guess I'll hand it back to the team at UNO.
And I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this session today. I hope it was beneficial for some of you. If you have any questions, my information is right there. That's my office line and my email address. My cell phone also is 504-481-1835. And I'd be happy to sit down and visit with anybody who thinks that homeownership is in their future.
Thanks so much, Tracy, and thanks, Alex, for connecting us with Tracy. This was a really interesting session, and actually something I wish I had had a few years ago as well when I was buying my home. So anyways, thank you. Super informative, and we will be sending follow-ups to all the participants and everyone who registered with your information, so you can expect to, I'm sure, receive some more direct questions. And to all you alumni out there, please join us again for next week's lunch virtual session. We appreciate it. Alex, do you want to say anything about your program?
Sure. I mean, I can just give a quick summary of what Flight does. So we're a Nolans-based nonprofit organization that creates free and high-quality financial education resources for different organizations and communities across the city. We work with all kinds of organizations, public libraries, colleges, schools, workforce development orgs. If you're part of a community or group that you feel like this kind of education would be useful, we always looking to put on new programs with different organizations. So yeah, they can share my contact details with you, or you can look at our website, which is flightcoaching.com, and all my contact details are there. We're always looking to put on new kinds of programs that we can really teach. We have facilitators who can teach across the spectrum of financial education, from basic money management skills to life planning, estate planning, investing, pretty much anything to do with finances, we can teach it for free.
Awesome. And yeah, we will include in the follow-up email Alex's contact information as well for Flight. So if y'all are interested in hosting some of these sessions within your groups, that would be lovely. So thank you again. And like I said, we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Tracy.
All right, Alex. Bye-bye.
Bye.